Hi, I'm Teresa Hunter, and I've been with Family Housing Advisory Services for 17 years, and I've been in the position as the Executive Director for 7 of those years.
I'm Gary Fisher. I'm the General Counsel of Family Housing Advisory Services and the past Director of the Fair Housing Center, the first Director of the Fair Housing Center. Now we have Joe Garcia.
My name is Joe Garcia. I'm the Director of the Fair Housing Center in Nebraska and Iowa. I've been with the agency for 11 years.
In the fall of 1994, we started the center with a grant from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Our mission at the Fair Housing Center is to make sure everyone has equal opportunity to obtain and maintain decent housing without having to face any type of discrimination.
But the reality is, it still exists today. There's discrimination that still takes place.
We asked the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development to give family housing money to start a fair housing program.
Family Housing Advisory Services provide services that range from homelessness prevention to home ownership.
We had a mission to meet the needs of the people that were coming through the doors of Family Housing Advisory Services at 24th and Lake. Now we have many more doors for people to walk through. We have an office in Council Bluffs, Iowa. We have an office in South Omaha. We still have our offices in North Omaha. We have a virtual office where we're available to persons through our website, and we're available to persons through our toll-free numbers.
We do taxes for people who need to access the Earned Income Tax Credit. We do fair housing services as well, and we have a subsidiary, Omaha 100, that does mortgage lending for people who might not otherwise have a chance to purchase a home.
Our services are beneficial to the community because the majority of our clientele are low to very low income. Our services are free because we are a nonprofit organization, so that's where the benefit comes to the community, and as far as us knowing what to look for and guiding them in the right direction when it comes to their housing questions and needs.
Housing is just critical. It's a critical component because you just have to have a place to go home. You have to have a place to lay your head. If you don't have that, then everything else falls apart. It's hard for school, for the kids. It's hard for all kinds of other things to happen.
Today, the center receives funding from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development on a performance-based grant basis, and that's important because the center receives that funding based on its performance and not based on a competitive grant process that requires us to start over every 3 years with a new grant.
Our partners are HUD. We work closely with the Nebraska Equal Opportunity Commission, Iowa Civil Rights Commission, Lincoln Commission on Human Rights, Omaha Human Rights and Relations Department, Sioux City Human Rights Commission, and Mason City Human Rights Commission. We cover all of Nebraska and western Iowa.
Private dollars are critical to our success because with a private dollar is a dollar that can be leveraged most effectively. The current grant funding from the U.S. Department of Housing and Development is known as Private Enforcement Initiatives. We were the first small group of programs in the United States to receive this funding, and we've now been receiving this funding for approximately 7 years.
It's not just racial and discrimination, but also against people who have disabilities, against people who have served our country and served our country well. And we're proud of them, we're so happy for them, but we don't want them to live in our backyard.
We've come a long way, we have a long way to go. I like to tell people that discrimination isn't the in-your-face cross-burnings we've seen in the 50s and 60s. It's very subtle. It's taken a different way of discrimination. On behalf of the entire center staff, I would like to thank everyone for coming out tonight and supporting our second annual Toast to Fair Housing in celebration of April as being Fair Housing Awareness Month. We also would like to thank Senator Brad Ashford for agreeing to be the chairperson for tonight's event. In addition, we would like to thank our sponsors, Selden Company, Baird Home, U.S. Bank, First National Bank of Omaha, American National Bank, Barnhart Press, Brombach Wandel, NP Dodge, Nebraska Investment Finance Authority, Omaha Board of Realtors, DEX1, and the City of Omaha's Human Rights and Relations Department. Without your generosity and support, tonight's event wouldn't be possible. Please note that the proceeds from tonight's event will go towards the work we do throughout Nebraska and western Iowa. We hope you enjoy tonight's entertainment, our keynote speaker, Mr. Othello Meadows III, and the camaraderie of old friends, and hopefully you make some new friends. And please know you made lifelong friends with the Fair Housing Center of Nebraska and Iowa. Thank you.